Hello and welcome. My name is Suzanne and today I'm going to take you through a short and sweet core focused flow. All you're going to need is a yoga mat. So when we're ready, we're going to get started lying on our backs. So finding a comfortable position, you could bend at the knees or you could lie out long. Let your shoulder blades relax down, let the back of your head relax on the mat as well. Go ahead and just let your arms relax here, maybe by the side, or let the hands rest on the belly. If you want to take just a couple of moments to close over your eyes. Start to take a nice full deep breath in through the nose. Take a big sigh out through the mouth. Let's take two more like this. Full big deep breath in. Long exhale out. One more full breath in. And then just sigh it all out. And return to steady breath in and out through the nose. If your legs are straight, take a couple of moments now to bend at your knees and take your feet flat to the mat. Maybe walk your feet a little bit further away from each other towards the edge of the mat and just let your knees rest against each other. Then I want you to really focus on sending the lower back down into the mat. So you have this curve in your lumbar spine, your lower back, which is probably not touching the mat at the moment. So I want you to focus on drawing the belly button towards the spine and pressing your lower back into the mat so there's no little gap there. And by doing that action, you start to switch on the lower part of your abdominals just a little bit more. When you have that engagement, really try to keep it. And then let your feet float off the mat, but keep your knees bent at a 90-degree angle. Stack them somewhere over the hips. Keep the feet active here. You can decide to either take your arms out nice and long if you have the space, or you could bend at your elbows and take them into a T shape, or into a cactus shape, sorry. But keep that lower back pressing into the mat now. If you can, on the exhale, really press down a little bit more. And then keeping the legs active. Inhale here first. Then on the next exhale, start to very gently let the knees float over towards the right side of the mat. Try to keep the knees separated. Your lower back will roll off the mat. Pause before the knees come down. Then inhale, pull the knees back to center. Press the lower back into the mat. And then we go to the other side. Exhale, let your knees float to the left. Keep your head, neck, and shoulders down on the mat. And then squeeze the belly, draw the knees back, stack them over the hips. And just keep going like this a few more times. We let the knees float to the left, or the right, sorry. Maybe we turn our gaze to the left. Good, then we hug the knees back to the center, and we let them float to the left as maybe we turn the gaze to the right. So you should start to really feel this action in the lower part of the abdominal, especially as the knees pull back to center. You're pressing the lower back down. Try to keep the knees in line at the hips if you can. Let's take one more on each side. Focus on keeping the chest space open and both shoulders down on the mat. Good. Then bring the knees back into center. Give them a bit of a squeeze in towards the chest. Again, take a nice big deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Keep pressing lower back into mat. Take your knees again, stack them somewhere over the hips. Then when your knees are stacked over the hips, take your arms and align them with your shoulders and let the palms face each other. Again, keep your head, neck, and shoulders down for now. Start to slowly straighten out through your right leg, flex the foot. Then as your right leg is straight, maybe reach your left arm up overhead in the opposite direction. Then exhale, try to squeeze everything back to the center. Right knee bends, left hand over left shoulder. Inhale, extend your left leg out long. Reach your right arm in the opposite direction. So opposite leg, opposit arm. Then exhale, pull everything back to where we started. Knees over the hips, hands over the shoulders. Inhale, straighten right leg, lengthen left arm out long. Keep pressing lower back into mat. Exhale, squeeze back to the center. Left leg long, right arm reaches overhead. Keep pressing lower back into mat. Exhale, squeeze everything back into the center. Take a few more of these. Start to link the movement with the breath. Really focus on pressing lower back down, keeping the core engaged, letting your hands and your knees travel back over to where they started. Good, just one more. Then again, we relax, hug the knees in towards chest. Take an inhale through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. One more of these supine core exercises. So again, with the knees stacked over the hips, press lower back into mat. This time let's take the hands behind the head to support the head and the neck. So can you lift the head, neck and shoulders off the mat, elbows out to side. Keep that sensation of pressing lower back down, no gap. Again, we straighten out through the right leg, but this time right elbow comes towards the left knee. Try not to draw the knee towards the elbow, elbow towards knee. Good. Come all the way back to where you started. Then we lengthen out through the left leg, left elbow towards right knee. Engage. Pull everything back to the center. Lower back presses into mat. Right knee, left elbow, straighten right leg. Pull everything back to the center. Just keep going with your little bicycles here. Try to keep that integrity in the lower part of the abdominals. Move. Make sure you're breathing with breath, or moving with breath, sorry. Good. Maybe if you want to build a bit more heat, you pick up the pace, or you could keep it really slow and controlled. Let's go for 5, 4, keep breathing for 3, keep pressing the lower back into the mat, keep the chin away from the chest, 1 more, good, then hug the knees in towards your chest, again, big inhale through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. Your journey to a tabletop, you could roll over to one side and press yourself up, or maybe rock and roll a few times. Go easy here. Take your time. Well, we are all going to meet in a tabletop position, so hands and knees. So take hands underneath the shoulders, knees more or less underneath your hips. Take a look at your hands, spread the fingers out nice and wide. Toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever you prefer. Just to wake up the spine a little bit more now. On an in-breath, start to lower the belly down towards the mat. Tilt your tailbone, pull through the chest, and maybe look up. As you exhale around the spine, lift your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Draw the navel in, squeeze all the air out. Inhale, drop your belly, tilt your tailbone, pull forward the heart, and maybe look up. Exhale to press the mat away and round your spine like a cat. 1 more big inhale, drop your belly, tilt your tailbone, pull forward the heart, and look up. Exhale to press the mat away and round out through the spine. Find your way into a neutral position. Keep your shoulders lifting up towards the ceiling, hands stay nice and active. If your toes are not tucked, start to slowly tuck them under now. I want you to think of pressing heels to the back of the room, drawing the lower belly in towards the lower rib cage, keeping the shoulder blades lifting up towards the ceiling. Then see as you drive the heels away from you, can you hover the knees off the mat about 1 inch or 2 so the spine stays nice and long. Keep the neck in line of the spine. Let's hold it here for 5. Keep drawing the ribs, the belly in for 4. Invite a little bit more heat for 3. Make sure you're still breathing for 2. Then keep your knees off the mat, sink your hips back towards the heels. Then send your hips up and back into a nice downward facing dog. Steady through the breath. Take a bend into the knees, take any sort of movements. Maybe you pedal out the legs, bend one knee and straighten the other. Bend one knee and straighten out through the other. Let the hips move a little bit from side to side if that feels nice. Try to keep the hands nice and active, fingers still spread. Press down into your fingertips and press down into your knuckles. And think of trying to draw your shoulders back away from the wrists. Find stillness in your downward facing dog. Slowly start to lift up nice and high onto your tiptoes. So lift the heels high off the mat. Just hold it here for a moment. Create that nice stretch in the back line of the legs. Start to draw the belly in just a little bit more. Hollow out the belly. Now start to round your back like that angry cat position as you slowly, carefully ripple forward and find your way to a high plank position. Notice if you need to walk the hands a little bit further forward like me. That's okay. Create that space in order to create your nice long plank position. Pull forward the crown of the head and press back with the heels. Let's reverse the movement that we just took. So tuck chin to chest, press away from the mat, round your back. Lift your hips up and back into your bent knee downward facing dog. Let's repeat. Come up nice and high into the tiptoes, ripple through the spine. Find your way into a plank without letting your hips drop. So you really need to switch on the core to help you with that. Then reverse, lift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Lovely, just 1 more of these. Come up nice and high into the tiptoes, ripple through the spine, find your way into a high plank. And let's hold the high plank position here. Heels press to the back of the room, crown of the head pulls forward. Breathe here for 5. Hands nice and active, arms nice and active. 4, knit the ribs in, draw lower belly in for 3. Keep breathing for 2. 1 more inhale. On the exhale, relax, lower your knees down, untuck the toes, bend your elbows, lower your belly and your chest all the way down onto your mat. Untuck your toes, relax here for a couple of moments. Take your arms out in front of you, give them a little bit of a stretch out. Then bend into your elbows and take your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. So not too far forward, not too far out to the side, not too close, more or less directly underneath where your shoulders are. Then I want you to spread out through your fingers, wrap your shoulder blades back and lift your chest into a Sphinx. So tops of the feet are pressing into the mat for now. Really focus on the opening of your collarbones and taking a little gentle back bend here. Shoulder blades drawing towards each other as your chest lifts a bit higher. Good, we're going to take this into stages now as we transition towards our elbow plank. So start to slowly engage your core. Really think of trying to lift the belly off the mat first. You need to tuck the tailbone in so you can keep your legs down. So I want you to focus on that engagement of core first. Think angry cat with the spine. Then start to tuck your toes under. Press the heels towards the back of the room and then see can you lift the lower body off the mat as well. But keep that engagement you had in your core. Keep breathing where you are. Crown of head pulls forward and the heels pull back. Keep breathing for 5. Engage the abdominals for 4. Keep breathing where you are for 3. Keep the glutes engaged, your hamstrings engaged for 2. On an exhale, reverse the movement. Slowly lower your knees down, untuck your toes, lift your chest and come back into your Sphinx position with your shoulders wrapping back. Good, just for a few moments, let your elbows go to the side now. Make a little pillow at your face and relax your head down and let your hips move a bit from side to side. Come back to the center. Again, elbows underneath your shoulders. Lift your chest and come into your Sphinx position first. Then drive into your forearms. So start to lift your shoulder blades a bit higher to the ceiling. Start to tuck the toes under and drive the heels to the back of the room. You're going to slowly roll over onto the side of your right foot. So you're coming in towards your side plank. Maybe use your left hand in front of you for support like this if you need it. Maybe your left hand comes onto your hip. Maybe your left arm reaches up or it stays by your side. Really focus on pressing into your right forearm so your hips lift up towards the ceiling and you feel a really strong engagement to your right obliques. Let's hold it here for 3. Keep your hips lifting up. If you need to, you could always stack your feet in front of each other for 2. Good. Then on 1, see can you come all the way back into your elbow plank, not into Sphinx. Steady your breath. Opposite side, roll over onto the knife edge of your left foot. Press into your left forearm. You could have your right fingertips in front of you. You could have the arm reaching up, arm by your side. Really focus on pressing up out of left forearm. Engage left side body, open out through right side body. You could always stack the feet in front of each other for 3. Keep the hips lifting nice and high for 2. Right shoulder rolls back. On your next exhale, release and come all the way back into your elbow plank. Steady through the breath. Now see, can you do this with me? We're going to slowly lift up onto our right hand, lift up onto our left hand, into our high plank hold. Lift your hips up and back in space into a downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, take a nice big deep breath into the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Lower the knees to the mat, sit back towards your heels. Take a few nice deep breaths in a child's pose, reaching your arms forward, relax your shoulders, or you could reach your hands back towards the feet. Just to take the weight out of the arms and shoulders again. When we're ready, hands forward, tuck the toes under, lift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Hands nice and active, arms nice and long. Again, we lift up nice and high into the tiptoes, ripple through the spine and find our high plank position. Shoulders over the wrists, crown of head pulls forward, heels press to the back of the room. We're going to move really slowly with this. Try to keep your body in this high plank position. Just move your right knee and hug it in towards your right elbow, squeeze side body. Step back into your high plank. Left knee, left elbow, shoulders over the wrists. step back. Right knee, right elbow. Try to lift it up a little bit higher each time if you can. Step back. Left knee, left elbow. And then we step it back. So keep moving like this, your little mountain climber. Again, if you want to build a bit more heat, just pick up the pace. Try to keep your shoulder blades lifting up towards the ceiling, tailbone tucked under, and really engage through the side body as the knees come forward. Let's go for 3. Keep breathing for 2. On 1, step back to your plank, inhale. Exhale, lower your knees, lift your chest, bend your elbows, come all the way down onto your belly. Press the tops of the feet down into the mat. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers out nice and wide. Wrap your shoulder blades back, this time come up into a low cobra, but hover your hands off the mat. So really squeeze the elbows towards each other. Hold it here just for 3. Tops of feet press down. Breathe for 2. Then exhale, just relax. Tuck your toes, sit back, lift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Steady through the breath. Again, come up nice and high to tiptoes, ripple through the spine. Find your high plank. Lift your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. The hands can go a little bit closer for this next one, okay? Again, move with the breath. Try not to twist and turn the body too much. Lift up your left hand and touch the outside of your right shoulder. Release your left hand down. Then swap, right hand outside of left shoulder. Release your right hand down. Left hand to right shoulder. Release the hand down. Right hand to left shoulder. Release the hand down. So try your best not to move the lower body too much. And again, if you want to pick up the pace or build a bit more heat, go a little bit faster. We're going to do this for 3. Keep your legs nice and active. Breathe for 2. On 1, find your high plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower your knees, untuck your toes. Come all the way down onto your belly. Again, we inhale, wrap the shoulder blades back. Hands can stay on the mat this time. Low cobra pose, maybe coming up a little bit higher. Press down into the tops of the feet. Exhale, just soften. Tuck your toes. Find your way into a downward facing dog. Take a nice big deep breath into the nose. And exhale through the mouth. When you're ready, slowly lower your knees down to the mat. Sit onto your heels. Sit up nice and tall. If you do have yoga blocks or big books around, you can use them underneath your hands for this next part. But if you don't worry about it. You don't have to have them. Going to take your hands by your side, by your hips or by the thighs. Not too far forward, not too far back. Going to round through your spine. You're on the tops of the feet at the moment. You're going to press into the hands and just hug the knees in towards your chest, but keep your feet down. Hold it for 3. Round through the back, angry cat for 2. Engage your abdominals. On 1, release your legs down and just relax. So we're going to do that 2 more times. And again, if you have blocks or books, maybe you can lift the feet off as well. Okay? That just challenges the core a little bit more. But if you want to keep your feet down, that's okay too. Okay? So hands press down, we wrap our triceps back, we press down into the hands as much as we can, then we hug the knees in towards the chest, round your back like a cat. Again, just hold it here for 3. Keep breathing for 2. On 1, release the knees down, relax, sit up nice and tall, maybe lean back a little bit if you need it. 1 more of these. Hands either onto your props, books or blocks or the mat. Round your back like a cat. Think of really squeezing knees to chest, chest to knees. Tops of feet can stay down or they can float. So wrap triceps back, press and lift. Maybe hover for 3. Breathe for 2. And on 1, release. You should really feel that in the abdominals if you're doing it right. Okay, give the wrists a bit of a roll out after that one, if they need it. Then just let your hips drop to one side and let your legs swivel out in front of you. Coming to everybody's favorite classic Navasana before we come back down onto our backs. So wrap the shoulder blades back, lift your chest, come up onto the tiptoes, catch your balance, make sure you're not going down towards the lower back. Chest stays nice and lifted. Then we lift the legs up. The knees can always stay bent here, that's okay. Maybe the arms extend out by the side. If you want, you can straighten out through the legs. And we hold it here for 10. Keep the chest lifting. 9. Keep breathing. 8. Engage the core. 7. 6. Invite the shakes. 5. Keep breathing for 4. Shoulder blades back. For 3. Keep breathing for 2. Then notice where you are and come halfway between there and the floor. Point your toes, draw the legs towards each other. Let's hold it here just for 5. Dish out the body for 4. Keep pressing down into the lower back for 3. Legs long and active for 2. Then on 1, come all the way down onto the back. Lovely. Feel free to stretch out through the body here. Reach the arms up overhead. Stretch the legs out nice and long. And again, if it feels good, take a big deep breath into the nose and exhale through the mouth. Take a few moments to lie out long or keep a bend into your knees. Soften the shoulder blades down. Take as much time now as you need to switch off and to rest. I thank you so much for joining in today's practice, and I hope to see you on the mat again sometime soon.